We're ready to go now? All right, good. Call the meeting to order, and I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we're meeting on the traditional lands of the First Nations and has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. In particular, I acknowledge the history, spirituality, and culture of the territory of the Anishinaabe Nation, the people of the Three Fires, known as the Ojibwe, Adawa, and the Potawatomi Nation, and further give thanks to the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash, collectively as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, as additional keepers of this land. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this area, as well as the contribution of the Métis, Inuit, and other indigenous peoples whose ancestors share these lands and waters. May we live with respect for each other on this land and live in peace and friendship with all its diverse peoples. Miigwech. Prior to today's meeting, the board met in closed sessions to review and discuss matters that, in their opinion, fell under Section 44 of the Community Safety and Policing Act and Section 25, Item B of the Owen Sound Police Services Board General Policy 003, Board Governance. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to our Executive Assistant, Kayla, and conduct the annual election for the chair for 2025. Kayla, over to you.
Under Section 36, Item 1 of the Community and Safety Policing Act 1999, members of a police service board shall elect a chair at the board's first meeting in each year. At this time, I would like to call for nomination for chair from the floor.
I was waiting for you to do that.
John Thompson, will you accept the nomination?
Yes, I will.
Are there any additional nominations for the chair from the floor?
Oh.
Hearing none, I declare that nominations be closed and John Thompson will be board chair for 2025.
She had a tough time getting that
one. Everybody was stuck with it.
Under Section 6, Item 2 of the Community and Safety Policing Act 1999, members of a police service board may also elect a vice chair at the first meeting in each year, and the vice chair shall act as the chair if the chair is absent or if the chair's position is vacant. In past years, members have elected not to select a vice chair. Given the recent changes in the act, it is recommended that a vice chair be elected. At this time, I would like to call for nominations for vice chair from the floor.
I would like to nominate Brian for the vice chair.
Brian O'Leary, will you accept the nomination?
Sure.
Are there any additional nominations for vice chair from the floor? Hearing none, I declare that nominations for vice chair be closed and Brian O'Leary will be board vice chair for 2025. At this point, I will turn the meeting back over to Chair Thompson, and congratulations to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure working in the last year, and I don't think there's any more changes with the CSPA in the next year. And if you believe that, I got a piece of land in Florida for you to sell.
So you're aware, at the end of January, the council turns over and we lose Sunit and we get Carol.
Yeah.
Right? Is that who it was?
Yep. Yes. Yep, saw that.
Okay.
Yeah, I already sent an email to Carol welcoming her to the board come February. All right, moving on to item number 4, approval of the agenda. We have a motion for that. Sunit, thank you. Brian, second, thank you. All in favor, carry. Declaration of conflict of interest arising out of the minutes and matters listed on the agenda. Hearing none. Presentations, deputations, and public question period. We have no presentations or public questions at this meeting. Confirmation of the minutes of the session held December 18th, 2024. Ian, thank you. Sunit, thank you. All in favor, carried. Any business arising in the minutes? Hearing none. Correspondence. In your board package, you would receive correspondence thank you from Chippewas of Nawash. It was a MPG file. And were you going to play that? Okay, that'd be great. Thanks, Helen. Item number B was a Christmas card expressing the gratitude to the Ensemble Police Service. We've also noted that the chief has received a number of one-line emails thanking them for the service and the diligence and unrelenting investigations of Sharif Rahman's homicide, and they were too numerous to put in here, but I just thought I'd acknowledge that there had been a number of them. There was a Crime Stoppers of Grey Bruce, October to December Coordinators Program Report. And also there was Inspector General's Memo number 2, changes to Community Safety and Policing Act and revised advisory bulletin 1.1. One of the things you should be aware of too, that there was an update to the CSPA as of December 4th, 2024. So it has changed since the inception in April 1st. Most recent member from the IOP was provides clarity on the responsibilities for boards and police chiefs as it relates to provision of temporary assistance and timeframes for reporting the actual use of such assistance. As we have seen, there's a few additional reporting requirements facing the service as a result of the CSPA. Is that a fair assessment, Chief, of what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. We did receive, since the board package came out, a letter regarding the budget 25, and it's a letter to the council from the chair and the police chief, and regards to amending the budget and a motion to approve the new budget. Chief, did you want to speak to anything on that letter?
No, the letter's fairly clear, and I was asked to look at an opportunity to reduce the impact to 5%. And originally, prior to some changes in the insurance coverage and a significant reduction of $26,000 in insurance premium cost, that was going to be very difficult. But as a result of that savings and some staffing issues, we are able to meet that as a draft, with the caveat that we have yet to complete negotiations and ratify contracts with all 3 of the associations, and the bargaining hasn't even begun with one, and so the total effects of that bargaining and those discussions may impact the bottom line throughout the year as we move forward. This time, that's the proposed budget for it.
Okay. Any questions on the letter? All right, if I could have a motion to approve the budget with the caveats noted in the letter. Sunit, thank you. Bev, second. Thank you, Bev. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. All right, moving on to Chairman's report. I have a quick follow-up item related to the announcement by the ministry last December with respect to the $77 million to municipalities being provided to help with OPP costs. As you may recall from our last meeting, we received a number of letters looking for our support as municipal police services. We're also asking for assistance. At that time, I contacted Lisa Darling, the executive director of the OSPSB, asking if there would be an announcement with respect to funding for municipal services. Last week, I contacted Lisa for an update. She had a meeting with the ministry and OECP on Monday. She anticipates that the OEPSB and the OECP will be setting up a working group with the ministry to look at the possibilities of a possible funding model. The ministry is interested in streamlining any grant process that might be developed. Lisa has another meeting planned with the ministry to discuss further funding possibilities. So it's being worked on. It's a work in progress, but it is taking time. Any comments from? Pardon me. Moving on to item number 11, Code of Conduct. In your package, you would receive the latest Code of Conduct as prescribed by the ministry. I provide this on an annual basis, first meeting of the year. Some members are reminded of the responsibilities under the code. On December 19th, 2024, I attended the swearing in of 3 new constables and 4 special constables appointed by the board. The actual swearing in process has changed with the introduction of the CSPA. In the past, I would simply be a guest and watch as those were administered and the chief presented the new constables with their badges. Under the PSA, special constables had to be approved by the Solicitor General's office, and the appointment was made by the Police Service Board. All special constables required to take an oath of affirmation of office and secrecy in the prescribed form. Under the CSPA, a police service board may appoint a person as a special constable without the approval of the Solicitor General's office. In addition to their oath and affirmation of office, police service board must issue a certificate of appointment signed by the chair in order for the special constable to exercise the powers and perform the duties of a special constable. For constables, under the PSA, they were appointed by the chief of police and signed an oath in office and secrecy. Under the CSPA, much like special constables, police service board must issue a certificate of appointment signed by the chair and after his or her appointment as a police officer. So it's changed a little different from before when it was just I got to sit there and watch and clap and congratulate everybody. Now we have to sign off because there's actual responsibility for special constables. Appointment is downloaded to the board from the Minister, Solicitor General's office, and the same thing with constables as well. Moving on to item number C, in late November 2024, the Inspector of Policing launched their data collection initiatives for municipal police service boards using the police service board's information, another acronym PSBI form, and policing insight statement with a deadline of completion for January 8th, 2025. Police board information form had a total of 71 questions, ranging from contact information, board information and operations, budgets and costs, administration and governments. This last section focused mostly on a listing of policies required under the Act, and a big thank you goes out to Dave Preston for giving the updates to our policy. The IOP also required a response to policing insight statement, which consisted of 4 questions, and Chief Ambrose and Mark Glode were most helpful in helping responding to these questions. And we did get it filed on time. So we did. Moving on from that, the item number 12, reports from Inspector Bishop.
Chair. As always, we have the on-site update that's on there. Again, these all date back to summer of 2023, what we're now seeing. I mentioned at the last meeting that although we had 3 homicides, it's potential for 8 lengthy preliminary hearings and trials coming out of that. So we're now starting to see some bookings on those coming up. So there's always possibility that some of them may resolve prior to court, but that's going to be a huge drain on resources for our CIB office moving forward as court starts to happen for a bunch of those. So we had an assault with a weapon on December 2nd. This is a good example of those calls that cost us a whole lot of money. This is a double stabbing that occurred here in Owen Sound. There was a mental health component to that. That would be one where it costs us a lot of money because it's in the middle of the night. It involves forensic identification call out regarding holding scenes until the warrants are completed, and we have people up at the hospital for that. So one of the victims was in and out same day, and the other guy had some surgery and was a number of days. Both make a full recovery, but again, another significant incident that drives the demands for bodies on the road. Suspected arson, December 7th, they started through the motions of, and then fire marshal determined the electrical in nature. Anonymous tip on a kidnapping that determined that was unsubstantiated. Sexual assault investigation in conjunction with first grade child and family services, 14-year-old victim. Insufficient evidence to proceed on that one. And then there was a media release out on the next one, the sexual assault forcible confinement that they did. That's the one where you saw the media release where probably 2,000 doses of fentanyl were seized, which is quite a significant fentanyl seizure, obviously. So we have an individual charged with numerous offenses. He was well known to us as far as somebody that we've dealt with many times before. Quite a length of charges laid against that individual. Tension Street value of $47,000 for the drugs seized. Remainder of the report, which just relates to our MHART stats training meetings and other things, last piece on that report. One other death in 2024 led us to a grand total of 14, which is on par with 2022, which was a very high year, which was, we believe, had the COVID component built into that, but we are not on the trend that we want to see in terms of opioid related deaths. So that is where we finished off the year. Any questions? Auxiliary. So our auxiliary unit, 165 donated volunteer hours in 2024. Big items for December is the traditional food drive that's done in conjunction with the Salvation Army. Probably not surprising, the numbers were down a bit this year, and I certainly believe that is great by economics right now, but 890 pounds of food, close to $4,000 in cash, which the Salvation Army does a cash equivalent calculation of $7,000. So there was a check presented and a little photo opportunity with the auxiliary, but great job. They always put a number of weekends in through December. We are anticipating that probably in about 6 weeks, we'll do another auxiliary intake. We've lost a few auxiliaries. We will be bringing, hoping to bring